everyone to this session of Morning Coffee with the CISO. I've got my coffee here and my esteemed guest today, the professional security defender with many flight hours in securing production systems, Clèment Herssens from Lhoist, who will join me today in sharing how to better protect OT and IoT systems, automation systems that are all around us. I'm Ariel Saghiv from Microsoft Defender for IoT, and I thank you for joining us this morning. And I hope we have an educational and very interesting session. This session is for you today, whether you are in food production, manufacturing, in pharma, in energy, or in materials and natural resources processes. Automation is all around us. Automation and industrial systems are growing in numbers, in sizes, and it's all about trust. It's all about our ability to maintain the effectiveness and operation of these systems. OT security is not easy. It's a challenge. And by working together as defenders, as blue team defenders, we can make it easier, make it better, bit by bit. So I'm Ariel Saghiv from the Microsoft Defender for IoT team, product team responsible for OT and ICS security with cyber physical systems, securing and increasing trust in cyber physical systems in production processes, with the goal of enabling organizations everywhere to be able to better protect and defend their infrastructure, business processes, and business critical systems for safety and uptime, maintainability. And with me, my guest, Clèment.
Thank you, Ariel. Thank you for the invitation. So yes, my name is Clèment Herssens. I have about a bit more than 15 years of professional experience in information security and joined Lhoist 6 years ago as a security officer.
So just in case, I'm always trying to keep up with the news. I have my Telegram, my WhatsApp, my Twitter are trying to call my attention consistently. I don't know about you, Clèment, if you manage to keep up with everything, but sometimes I miss some news. And recently we've released our latest version and capabilities of the OT security system of Defender for IoT with new cloud-powered OT security capabilities released into general availability, allowing organizations everywhere to increase the power, the speed of detection, the breadth and the depth for threat detection, analysis, inventory discovery, response, creating faster workflows and more effective communications and teamwork in securing OT by augmenting the edge processing capabilities that are already part of the system with the different sensors feeding in information which run on premise, but collecting this information and accessing, tapping it from the cloud and allowing new capabilities, new possibilities for managing OT security in organizations and seeing everywhere in a unified, all the information from any location for globally dispersed security teams in one unified portal. There are many new use cases and new capabilities. This is, from my experience, this is changing the way that we work. It's not only the challenges in today's network world and networks are reaching out into the production systems. It can be the ERP systems, the new industrial revolution, Industry 4.0, the different the possibilities to download new formulas to monitor production processes from central locations, allowing all kinds of experiments with digital twins. And so this connectivity has many upsides for the business, for the bottom line, for ROI and so on, but it introduces new challenges for us, for defenders, for security teams. If you want to know more, you can follow this link and you're welcome to try it out if you haven't tried it out yet. Critical production systems, cyber physical systems, if you like, impact our world, our real life, tangible world. They've been in place for many years. They are designed for life cycles which are tens of years. Typically, it's fixed only when it breaks, or replace only after it breaks, and be tried to fix many times. They're insecure by design. They are designed for safety, for maintainability, for reliability, but network security, cyber security was not always part of the design. These machines are screenless. We only know something is wrong when something breaks or someone calls us. And security updates or patches are not enough. They're not enough to secure. They're not enough to understand if the system is actually doing what it should be doing. And we try to solve this by visibility that will allow us to make better decision making, to make effective decision making in time. And the challenge is only growing. In the last 10, 15 years, I'd say we've seen an increase in quantity of the systems. The automation systems are reaching out everywhere. The last cycle of COVID and remote work and so on, these automation and technology is everywhere. The business impact has become from tools that help us do our work to tools that we cannot do our work without. Today, we cannot set an appointment to the doctor without the information system allowing us to book our schedule, our slot, and if it's down, we cannot even get admitted. Today, when these technological systems halt, production stops, and the impact on the bottom line is immediate. And this takes the challenge for our security teams from where we could maneuver, we could have time to research, to understand, into the challenge of triaging, response, and bringing the business and the operation back up immediately, because otherwise every moment counts in safety, in production, in profits, and in the names of our organizations that we are there to protect. Clèment, you meet these challenges every day.
Indeed, and to give a bit of background about the company I work for, Lhoist. The Lhoist Group is a global leader in the production of lime, dough-lime, and minerals. We have headquarters in Belgium. We are present in about 25 countries with more than 100 facilities, of which 80 manufacturing sites around the globe. Our core activity consists of extracting limestone, transforming it through several manufacturing processes, and delivering burnt and unburned products to our customers. We offer solutions with a wide range of industries such as steel, glass, flue gas treatments, agriculture, construction, pulp and paper, and chemicals. Furthermore, as we are a resource-intensive business, Lhoist is committed to sustainability, innovation, and social responsibility with an ambition to significantly lower the environmental footprint of our industry.
Clèment, how do you secure such a wide infrastructure?
Well, as for IT, first of all, visibility. You need to know what you have in order to put in place protection or controls to address the risks that they are facing.
So I guess if I'd have to ask you, what does OT security mean for you? I get this question, across the board, but what does OT security mean for you? I get answers across from how do I control remote access into systems by subcontractors, and how do I deal with all of these networks that are never the same? There's not one that's the same as the other, unless there are machines that are one next to the other, or dealing with connectivity into the internet, finding out which systems shouldn't be connected out of our perimeter but do, or is it about the team and training and skilling the security team in securing OT? Well, where do you meet it?
There are many topics to look into, and as we say, you always have the people, the team you need to look into, the processes that need to continue working. We speak about OT, so availability is really a very critical aspect. And then we have the technology. What do we run? What version do we run? Is it 10, 20, 30 years old? And how do we make sure that the technology is secure? And if we look at our industry, and probably like many other global organizations like ours, we as Lhoist have mainly grown through the acquisition of production sites. So that reinforces also that we do not have typically two plants that are alike in terms of technology. We have adopted technologies from a wide range of vendors, big and small, and unlike IT, which is oftentimes a global organization, well, the responsibility over those plants, over those OT environments is often very decentralized. So I'm speaking for many when I say that maintaining a proper asset inventory in an industrial environment is a very challenging task. How many of us do know what they have exactly installed or present in their IT network? So let alone IT, what do they have in their OT network? And if they have the documentation, how old is it? Is it recent? Is it 5 years old, 10 years old? And if you do not know what you have with some degree of certainty, how do you know what you have to protect and how you have to protect it? So to us, it was of the utmost importance to create visibility over the assets we have in our environment. What assets we have, what vulnerabilities they have, how those assets behave between each other, and how do they communicate.
So if I'd ask you for one tip for an organization that wants to start protecting their OT infrastructure, where would you recommend them to start? How do you recommend to set the first step on that journey?
Know what you have. If you don't know what you have, you don't know what to protect.
So visibility.
Visibility, definitely. And then there's another factor that is playing into the OT security discussion is that over the last couple of years, we have been bombarded with buzzwords like Industry 4.0, IoT, big data, cloud, and so on. And digital transformation is something that is picking up speed, not only on the IT level, but also very much on the OT level. We speak about preventive maintenance, we speak about unmanned machines, and so on. So digital transformation is taking a predominant place in our corporate strategies. And the role of OT security here is to reconcile an inherently vulnerable environment, which is the traditional and legacy OT space we know, with a newer connected technology and allow that convergence to happen in a secure and controlled way.
But then I'd ask you if we look into the history, if you like, and what is traditional OT security, and how do we manage this security? We come from securing on-prem the systems in the site where we can see with the eye, we can see the system that we are protecting, we can see what it's doing. The challenges of connectivity, as you said, and we see this every day. How do we build a defensible architecture? How do we set our different systems for being maintained, requirements from our suppliers, and yet keeping them secure? Where do you see the balance? What's the secret? What's your secret?
Well, you won't change your entire OT infrastructure from one day to the other. There are many pre-requirements. There are most of the time you need to take into account maintenance windows. And when you have a maintenance window, you cannot change everything at once either without taking proper precautions to ensure that the business can pick up again once you do the changes. But there is a lot also around the people about communication, about speaking the same language, because security is, I would say, a fairly new topic when we speak about OT environments. My conviction is that OT security is a journey together with the operational staff. This is a journey together with the people in the plants and who know that environment out and about. From a pragmatical point of view, I do not expect my IT security or my OT security team to be the best placed person to take an informed decision when we have an incident in a plant. And that's perfectly fine like that. But working together with the people that are really hands-on and working in those industrial facilities, our role, my opinion, is that our role is to provide them the necessary visibility over their infrastructure and give them threat information in a very intelligible way so that they can follow the best possible course of actions in case of an incident. I do not know if I turn down the system, if I would create a safety issue or not. They do know that.
Where does your team today see and work how would you describe the best scenario from a security standpoint to, if you have an event happening, is it a maintenance issue or a security issue? What's your way of doing it?
I would say it's a collective issue, but because in the end we all work for the better good of the company, and developing OT skills in a security team is duplicating the skills that we probably already have within the plans. So it's really a collaboration effort, and we'll probably get to that topic as well further down this coffee discussion. But to me, the most important is that when we have an indication of an incident or an incident occurs, that the right person knows as soon as possible what is going on so that he can take the right course of action, really reducing the mean time to respond to an incident as much as possible.
And the security system nature and using here the resources available with the cloud that are not only the on-prem resources, these capabilities, where or how does it increase the effectiveness of your teams?
We're working towards standardization and a lot of workshops together with different stakeholders in the company, and not only operational staff, but really up to the management chain, working on standardizing the way we organize ourselves, the way that we organize remote access to a plant, or the way that an operational system can communicate with an OT infrastructure in the cloud. Putting that minimal baseline, that minimal set of security rules is key to have to be able, maybe from an IT point of view, to provide a sufficient level of support to guarantee sustainability and availability of the infrastructure where we might be lacking knowledge on site itself.
So you're making the non-standard networks and the differences between the different sites, you're being able to normalize them into one operational concept.
That's the goal.
With your team.
That's the goal. Dream. And still, my dream is to have the full IEC 62443 standard rolled out everywhere. And I know that 30 years from now, I will still be working on that. But on the other hand, you can also start from the perspective that if you cannot protect something from within, you build your walls around it and you make sure that whatever comes in or whatever gets out does so in a secure way.
And does the business challenge you to your decisions and the security that you try to implement?
Well, of course, we are always challenged, and challenge is a good thing, because sometimes we might tend to be too strict in actions we want to take. Sometimes they want to be too loose in the way that they want to evolve in the Industry 4.0 strategy. But in the end, we all have the same goal, that is innovating, working together, ensuring availability of the production. And I like to see the security department as an enabler for business, as an enabler for newer technologies, rather than a blocking factor.
I think that's part, that's part of the change, I guess, for us, for the security professionals and defenders. I think, in the past, when I would get these kind of requests for connecting one system to another, the first answer was no. The second time it was no, but you're insistent. Why are you insistent? But I think today the mindset is different. That the change is this is an enabler for better and safer business making. And then I guess how do we take and leverage these capabilities within Microsoft? We have endless capabilities within different solutions, cloud security, threat intelligence, threat research solutions, and how do we leverage them in order to make the defender's life easier, I'd say? How do we bring them in? And this is where we've been innovating and looking to make life easier. Less maintenance, less total cost of ownership, bringing in resources that are not on-premise, that you don't have to own, but are available in Azure, in someone else's data center, and leveraging them for better, faster discovery of assets, of their detecting behavior anomalies, detecting the unknown threats as they happen, because usually that's looking forward into the future, and generating, allowing the team velocity and workflow, and the team to interact and work together. The on-prem, the SOC team, probably they're in different locations as well, providing the different capabilities for them to work seamlessly together, I'd say. Where do you see this helping Lhoist? If you could share with us.
You know, cloud is increasingly present in the discussions we have around new technology investments, and we are seeing more and more initiatives relying on cloud services, even within the OT landscape. So obviously, there are a lot of considerations to make when selecting, designing, and implementing such solutions, and all projects, small or large, they must be reviewed for their security implications. And it almost always boils down to finding the right balance between the risk we are willing to take or to accept, the value of that new technology, what it brings to organization, the budget we have available, and not only for the acquisition, but also to make sure that investing in that technology is secure, and also a balance with sustainability. How does it help us reach our goals, our organizational goals?
And do you see the value of interacting in your internal processes? How would you quantize the value of working together, the business, the development teams that work on the different processes to work together with the security team? You're not aliens to the business and operational people.
No, but it's paramount. And again, if we have to look at what one of the major fears is for a CEO globally, and it came out of research recently as well, ransomware is still the #1 fear of an organization, because this could paralyze an entire business for days, even for weeks or months, with huge losses behind that. So if security is not factored into all new technological investments and research and development, if we do it too late, costs run up high. If we do it too early, well, then it's never too early to think about security. But it really has to become part of the DNA, and we managed to get security involved as from procuring a new service already. That's really very important to start as early as possible, not to have any surprises afterwards.
If we look at this journey of, we often get this, I think this is the #1 goal of defenders today, of defending organizations, is it's not about placing the different technologies. It's about building a sustainable, effective team that is introducing security, understands security, and knows how to talk to the organization. And when we see this evolution of what's called the unified SOC, where we see first of all it's the people. If we break down the security, it's not only we have people, we have technology, we have processes, or people, platforms, and processes, if you like. And we want to put these processes in place. This journey that if you look. If I'll take you back in history to when you started your security career, but looking at this evolving journey of security teams in the organization, and we have this, I'd say, formula of starting off and how we see the security teams working together and putting together from monitoring the different production systems and putting it together into one, because in truth today the networks are connected, of course, and our security team needs to see end to end. What's your secret sauce, if you like, that we can share with our audience into reaching this, and where do you see yourself in this evolution? Where do you want to be?
I think that there is no secret sauce, but technology is evolving, and it's evolving fast. If we compare to 15 years ago, obviously now we 15 years ago, we were still talking a lot about the perimeter, and everything had to stay within that perimeter, and you had to have that type of onion with everything and different level of security depending on your onion. Today, we even have clouded to the core of your onion, so that it really changed a lot. When we started implementing Defender for IoT, we implemented it as an on-premises solution, and out of network segregation considerations. We didn't want to have a link straight between our OT and the internet, and we still don't. But Microsoft's clear strategy to integrate Defender for IoT with the entire Defender suite and with Microsoft Sentinel, we have decided to enable all our Defender for IoT appliances in the cloud. What's the advantage of that? Now we have a single pane of glass with the ability to manage all appliances from a central place. And we correlate security information with other sources in the SOC landscape, with other plans, but also with other systems in our IT landscape. Azure, for example, Active Directory, with our firewalling information, with our Windows log, system events, proxy, and so on. And now we also benefit from continuously updated threat intelligence, and we can really be on top of things when an incident occurs. Defender for IoT is also more than just a sensor reporting security events, and that's maybe a very interesting story that I can share, is that it's more than security. That visibility gives you a lot of possibilities to ensure availability of your plans. Pretty early in the deployment journey of CyberX, in the days now Defender for IoT, the level of visibility that was provided by the solution has allowed us to put a finger on the root cause of serious network performance issues that had been going on for years. For example, we faced an issue where two systems on their own were consuming more than 90% of the available bandwidth in the plant. So when we deployed Defender for IoT, we were able to identify which two systems were generating that much traffic. And we were able to conclude that it was due to development flaw because one system was constantly replicating the entire database of the other system real time. Why? Because they wanted to check a couple of values from a historian. Now, just pulling an entire database in order to analyze two values, you can imagine how much traffic that generates. They were communicating for several terabytes of traffic on a daily basis. So obviously, when with Defender for IoT, we not only quickly identified which two systems were generating that additional traffic, but we could also look up to the protocol layer what type of communication it was. We saw it was database communication, but we were also able to see up to the query level what query was really generating that extra load. Resolving those issues, we lowered the load on the systems, we lowered the load on the network, and basically we resolved an issue that had been growing over the years just in the blink of an eye.
So if I go back to visibility, as we started our discussion, I guess I see visibility, you know, maybe that's my take, but visibility allows us defending the network to reach effective decision-making, build resilient decision-making processes in our security organization. And so you're saying that this visibility is not only directly for security, but there are other benefits, many other benefits to visibility.
Yes, indeed. And I have another story as well. That's our entire security strategy that has been shifted since we decided to onboard Defender for IoT and integrate that within the cloud. Is that thanks to the native integration of Defender for IoT with Microsoft Sentinel, and then we speak about the SOC services, we have decided to migrate all security operations to that platform. So with key advantages to be able to automate as much as possible when we have an incident occurring. And this to me is very important because the more you can automate, you don't need to automate everything, of course, because there is a risk to automation. But if we can reduce the mean time to react to an incident thanks to automation, this is what we're going to do. As I said, I do not expect my security team to be able to analyze an OT security incident and take action on a device that is in a plant that's situated 1,000 miles away. But when we receive an incident, we know from what sensor it comes, so from what plant it comes. We know who are the OT people responsible for that plant. So we can automatically redirect an incident or a notification to the right person in the plant so that he knows with a blink of an eye that something is going on, what systems are having issues, and he can take immediately the right actions and document those actions, say in a Teams message, for example, so that the information is pulled back to the security team and you can resolve the incident very quickly with a full documentation, and we can close it at a central place.
You're bringing up an amazing point, you know, of our expectation from our OT security defender. What is the SOC person's role in the unified SOC? What is their responsibility? What is expected of them? You know, we want them to be superheroes and be able to not only find the problem, solve it, and fix the production system remotely and so on, but we have a process, we have an organization, and how do we build up our secure OT or unified SOC defenders to be happy, successful, professional, and effective at securing the organization, and having the right tools for that, I guess. And maybe extending that question also, you mentioned that, you know, this taboo word in OT security of automation, but you kind of, I see, or I think that automation is not only, there are many flavors of automation. There's a rainbow of possibilities, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. You can have automation that goes and configure your firewall to block a communication, but there are dangers to implementing that type of automation. You might be breaking some other processes with an impact on safety, with an impact on physically damaging equipment in the plant. But you can also have automation in terms of notifying. The example I explained just before, the mere fact that you can really notify almost in real time the right automation engineer of an issue in his plant is something that's of real value, because you don't lose time calling up and going up the entire communication chain to find the right person, but you also provide the right information in an intelligible way to that person so that he knows exactly what is going on and he can infer himself what he has to do. He knows what systems he can shut down, he knows what course of action he can take, and he can resolve the incident on his own without even the IT or OT security team centrally to be involved. Obviously, we are still present if there is some collaboration needed to resolve the incident and analyze together, but the information goes straight to the person with a hands-on experience.
The work, the shift of the OT security person is not getting any easier, I guess. There are more and more things to learn, systems to maintain. But I think that looking into the future, where is OT security going? I guess we mentioned automation a bit and the unified SOC, but you know, if we look a few years into the future, do we really see the Starship Enterprise in our plants? Everything happening and you know, without touch of a person, or will we be able to solve, you know, that impossible problem of identity of who did something in who programmed that system, or who accessed, who touched it?
If you have a silver bullet for that, I'll be very happy to take it. But yeah, I think we won't be able to resolve that issue anytime soon. That there will, especially in OT, there will always be a need to have some human verification or human interaction. But one point, and I see that also as the third bullet in your slide, knowledge is power, data is power. So the more data we can capture, the more analytical models we can create on those, and the more we can be reactive and identify precursors of an ongoing attack or an attack in preparation. So the more information we're able to capture and analyze, the more efficient and accurate our algorithms will be just to handle incidents. And that's something that we already have with Defender for IoT. Defender for IoT can analyze the communication between one asset and the other. And as soon as we have an anomaly on that behavior, we can already infer that something might be going on. It doesn't mean that we have a real issue, but at least we have an indicator that we might want to look into that specific incident. And it's that knowledge and AI is not only true for OT security, but also for manufacturing optimization. For example, if you see how your production behaves, just an example, how your CO2 emissions evolve depending on changing one parameter or the other, leveraging that data, leveraging artificial intelligence, you could reduce flue gas emissions, and there are so many areas of applicability.
It goes back to visibility, I guess. It's not about having conversations with ChatGPT, but it's about having even more information and being able to maybe sift through it and maybe have a discussion with ChatGPT or security copilot that will guide you or direct you to how you could take it to the next step.
Exactly. Well, that's my personal view on it, but yeah, if you have the data, if you have the visibility, you already have a lot.
Well, that's our challenge for the upcoming years then to develop, and I think the world is changing in giant strides in these areas, and this is how we make decisions as humans together with the cyber physical systems, I guess. So I'd like to conclude our morning chat, our coffee. Next time we'll maybe have it over a whiskey or a beer, Clèment. And in case you haven't joined yet and you'd like, I invite you to join our private community, like our work together with Lhoist, in working together as defenders. The attackers are already working together, as we know, and offering malware as a service and other services, but we as defenders can put our heads together and improve security of our organizations and our production systems everywhere. I invite you to join our private community, have direct access and work together with our product group, bring in new ideas and leverage the different resources and information and guidance that we have working together with other experts in the field. And we invite you to join us on this journey. And if you want to know more on Defender for IoT or haven't been able to keep up and see the latest blog posts or the latest reports, the Cyber Signals report from the end of last year, I invite you to, and hope to see you soon and getting some fresh new ideas and see what the future will hold for us. Clèment, I'd like to thank you for taking this moment and sharing from your experience with our customers and with our visitors, and looking forward to many new adventures on our joint journey together.
Thank you, Ariel. Really appreciated the opportunity.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.